Hello, and welcome to the Big Money Stylist podcast. I am your host, Ani Rivera, and we have another familiar face joining us today, Miss Katie.
I forgot to adjust the microphone because the headphones don't work, so I just forgot about it. I'm
struggling.
sorry, guys.
No, I'm super stoked to have you back here.
I'm excited to be back. It feels so soon.
Does it?
It must mean you liked me last time.
We did. I loved you. I feel like there was a ton of positive feedback about your entire story. I know I was seeing you tagged left and right, and you were getting like private messages about it, and it was great.
Yeah, I don't go on Instagram as often as I should, would, whatever. And so Ani actually sent me a screenshot of a post from one of our artists. And like literally, I was just like crying looking at the screenshot of it. So then I went on Instagram and I was like, oh, look at this. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So it was just really honestly awesome to like know that like just by being authentic and by sharing like anything that like you can help other people to grow. Like that's just like really cool because oh my God, I hate being in that place where you're just like, I'm so stuck right now. And I know I'm stuck and I need something to happen to get me out of this.
Well, I'm actually really excited about that. We have a couple topics we want to talk to you guys about. So we're really just going to start jumping into it. This week was an ass beating for me. I'm just going to say it. Like, here's what happened, and I feel like I'm learning one of the biggest lessons ever that my ass was humbled this week, and that's the best way I can put it. So you guys know I'm on my big surf journey, and I started on an 8-foot foam top, and I went down to a 7-foot foam top, and that's the one I've been surfing for a hot minute. And now I text my coach one day, and I was like, I want to go down to a hard top. I want to get a GoPro, and I want to put that bitch on a hard top. They don't stick to foam tops. When can I get there? And he's like, well, you need to go down to a smaller board again. He goes, and it'll take 12 weeks to custom order you a hard top. I'm like, I'm in, let's do it. So I'm now riding a 6-foot foam top, and my ego was so good. I was like, bitch, it is not gonna make a difference. Hair flip. I'm so good at this. Like, not a big deal. And I think because not that I've even been doing this for a long time, but I've had like a weird, like natural, a natural ability to be able to do it. And I feel like artists do that a lot where they're like, ma'am, hair flip. I've been doing hair for so long. Like, I'm so fucking good. And I'm like, whatever. And we hear that in every class. Everyone's like, I've been doing extensions for 15 years. I know what I'm doing. And every time I hear that, all I can think is, you're about to get worked. Like,
oh yeah, because we thought the same thing.
Yeah. You know who's about to be humbled? You're about to be humbled once you start doing this. Because NBR is a very intricate method, but that's also what makes it so good. So let me tell you this. I went out to go surfing, coachless, and I got worked. In 2 hours, I only had 2 good waves. I couldn't even stand up. Like
I'm not laughing at you.
Dude, you can laugh at me. It's fine. To the point where at one point my board hit me in the face. Or it might have been a wave. Something hit me in the face.
Are you serious? You didn't tell me this.
No, I didn't because I didn't want to admit it to anyone. I got hit in the face so hard, I thought my nose was bleeding. It was like that hard. And I'm sitting there going like trying and then like checking my hand like a fucking gross sicko.
With
like,
salt? Is it salt or blood?
Literally, I'm like, is it boogers? Is it salt? Like, what is happening at this point? But it was so interesting because leaving, I calmed down, and I mean, it was my worst surf session I've ever had. And leaving, I was kind of like, well, I've had a natural ability to do this, which I feel a lot of artists have, where whether it's coloring or cutting, like you have like a thing and you're good at it. And that natural ability brought you to be where you are today. Let's say on a scale from 1 to 10, you're already at a level like 5. It came easy to you. And then you have it in your head that everything is going to come that easy. And then all of a sudden you try something new. For most of you listening, it was NBR. And you were like, I'm not fucking good at this. I don't understand. And you become frustrated. You're sad. I hope if my surf coach's wife listens to this, don't tell him to listen to this. I almost cried during my surf session at one point. It was that frustrating. Like you're frustrated. It's like where you're like, fuck this mannequin head. You want to kick it. You want to break something. I can't hit the ocean. The ocean will hit back. And I just sat there and I was like, I'm terrible. I'm garbage. I'm not fucking good at this. I thought I would. Like, it was humbling.
Yeah.
And I learned, like, all of us have a natural ability to do something, but it's what happens when you've reached the peak of that natural ability.
Okay, I just got to ask you this question. I'm sorry, I'm dying over here.
No, please.
Have you ever had that moment when you're doing a client where you literally want to cry and you're just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Look, and I swear to God, if anyone listening to this says no,
You're lying.
A, you're a fucking liar, or B, you have never pushed yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's
Cool.
true. 100%.
You keep doing your 60600 root touch up on Betty Sue, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever happened to you?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, honestly, and I think, especially because a lot of the guests that we see, like when you start doing NBR, like a lot of them, when you see them for their first appointment, it's a corrective everything.
It's rough.
And you only know so much about their hair history because they only know so much. Like, you know, you want to know, oh, did they use, you know, permanent hair color on you? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it covered my gray, but no. And you're like, that wasn't that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I have had those moments. And then you really, I mean, in those moments, like, I mean, what do you do?
Internally pray to the hair gods. First off, everybody, if you haven't ever walked to the back room and just been like, please, dear God, let this work.
Yeah.
You've never struggled in the salon then. But really, and I've experienced that in the salon. For me, number one is taking a deep breath and having to be like, okay, if you panic, you're fucked.
Yeah, they will feel your panic. It's like wild animals. You're like, okay, I mean, okay, do you want me to just tell you mine? I'm gonna
Yes, please,
so
please.
Here, so I go and I'm like, all right. I have to like get all of like the anxiety, the stress, and the feeling and the bad emotion like out, which is like why you take the deep breath.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, if I feed into this, to any of these negative feelings right now, this is only going to get worse. It's only going to spiral bigger. I'm not thinking clearly because all I'm thinking about is how stressed I am, and my client is going to feel it.
They'll know.
And they will feel it. And like, I mean, because you can feel it when someone is just like, oh, so like you just like love this like color, right? And if you can't see me right now, I'm pretending to color someone's hair, but my hand is shaking because I'm anyways. So yeah, you just like suck it up. And then what I do, which might be crazy, but I just pretend like I just give myself a positive affirmation, or I just like tell myself I've got it. I'm like, no, like, you know the laws of color. You went to school. You're educated. You've been doing hair for this long. Like, you fucking got this. So stop it. Like, get your shit together and get out there and kick some ass. Like, because you still have time to like nail this.
Yes. I do the same thing. Like, I take a couple deep breaths because I think we get so far in ahead of like, I can't do it. Oh, this is so far out of our natural ability because we're being pushed that we're like, I can't do it. This is terrible. It's going to be bad. I've done it where it's like, fucking cut it out. Cut it out. You went to school for this for not over, you actually graduated right on time, but you went to school for a year. I've been licensed since I was 19. I'm 31 now. So for 12 years, I've been doing hair. I know what I'm doing, but I feel it's once we feel that first little push of it's like, outside of our comfort zone, outside of our natural ability, that's when we're like, fear and panic.
Yep.
Fear and panic.
And so what did you learn when you were surfing?
First off, I had to control my panic. Let me tell you, I have had panicky moments. I heard something in a movie I recently just watched that fear and panic, fear and panic are two very different emotions. Fear is healthy, but panic can actually be deadly. And that, I feel, has now gone across the board. For me, even the reason I started surfing, I'd never been in the ocean. I was super afraid, but I would panic immediately. I swear to God, I've almost drowned someone because they were like, ha, ocean, pushed me in, like took me too far. And I was like, ah! I'm that person trying to crawl up another human like, I will drown your ass to save mine. I won't. I stopped immediately because I realized I was a fucking psycho. But like, that's panic. Same with when I was in the water, anytime I've been getting like worked, you can't panic. But also my quote unquote fear of the ocean is gone, but it's been replaced with respect. And same at the salon. If you're having that moment where you're like, you know, like when your chest, you start getting really hot.
Oh yeah.
And then your chest gets really tight.
And sweaty.
and then you're sweating, and then you're like, I think I'm going to cry.
Oh,
That's the worst. That's panic. How does that help you?
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, and just for those of you listening who are not stylists and who are like, wait, what? Like, you actually panic. It's not that it's that things don't go according to plan. So you start out and you apply the color that by all means should do what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't. And then you're like, WTF, with a smile on your face. Oh yeah, of course. How much time do you have today? So it's not like we don't know what we're doing here. It's when things don't go according to plan. But what I really like, what's been ringing in my mind this whole time, is what you said to me earlier about learning to control your board, your new shorter board. And what actually did it for you was focusing on the horizon, focusing on the beach, focusing on land. And it's when whether you're surfing or whether you're behind the chair or whether you're in business, it's like just focusing on the prize. End. Yes. Where are you going?
Fucking prize. Yes. And that's a big thing. So in case you don't know, with surfing, if you look at your board, you're fucked. If you look at the wave, you're fucked. You literally have to look at wherever you're going, because even if you just turn your eyeballs, your head will turn, your shoulders turn, you're gonna wipe out. That was definitely happening to me because I was so stressed about where my feet went. I focused completely on the wrong thing. Like I was trying to solve a problem, but I was solving the wrong problem, which was causing me bigger problems. And
isn't that like a Segway? Like,
it happens all the time.
I've never ridden one, but isn't it like that? Like you have to like look where you want to go because then your body like follows and you lean that way.
Yeah, don't want to lean.
So if you're looking at your board and your feet, you're gonna go into your board.
That's why I ate shit going headfirst over my fucking board.
I'm glad you still
and
have
that
all your
happened
teeth.
so many times. But it was so crazy of like, that's why I just keep saying like, I was humbled. And it's okay to have those moments in your business, even if you're opening up a new business. And I feel like to even say like focusing on the wrong thing, do you know they say that most businesses that people actually have $1 billion ideas, but they never get off the ground because people are focused on the wrong thing. Well, my packaging isn't perfect. The logo isn't perfect, but the colors, but the this. Is that the thing that actually matters? Or is the thing that matters is having a great product, putting it out and making adjustments as you go?
Oh yeah. So I wish I could remember this exactly right now, but I heard this line the other day, and it was like, don't let content die on the hill of pretty, or something like that. And I mean, that. Like, this was a piece of humble pie for me.
So we're all having humble pie this week.
Yeah, because I'm always like, Ani, that's not the right font, or Ani, that's not the right color. Although I don't actually say that anymore.
I wasn't gonna call you out on it, but that's exactly where my mind went first.
Right?
You and your websites.
So I wrote it down because I'm like, okay, like, what are you trying to communicate? And like, where are you going? And don't look at any distractions. Stop being distracted by other things. Like, it doesn't matter if it's pink or blue. It really doesn't.
Just put it out and you can adjust along the way.
Unless it's a gender reveal, and then it matters.
Do you want to know something they learned about me at the salon yesterday? Talking about humble pie.
Yeah.
I've never had pie. I've had like real pie, like apple pie.
She's had chicken pot pie.
Pumpkin pie. That doesn't count. So let me tell you, I've had a lot of humble pie. All right, that's the pie I've had. But literally at the salon, they're like, "How?" I'm like, "I'm not white American. I wasn't born here. Like, I don't know."
She's Puerto Rican. So to our listeners, can you please let me know? Is this a thing? Like, I just feel like she should have at least tasted pie.
I mean, please, if you are from Spanish descent and you are Hispanic, we make homemade flan. That's what we make. That's our traditional dessert. Or the kids would all come together and make cookies or brownies. Like, that's what we did. But pie was like never a thing with my family.
I'm not like
up.
a pie person, but I've had it.
I mean, I haven't.
I'm so curious to know.
Yeah, like I don't. Oh, guys, I need you to DM me on Instagram and let me know for all my Spanish people, because I feel like I need support in this right now. But going back to this, like, yeah, people get so stuck on like the wrong thing that then they never launch anything. And even especially, I feel like it's the wrong thing because the right thing they should focus on is outside of their comfort zone and outside of their natural ability. So instead of saying, I have hit the ceiling of who I am. I've hit the ceiling of my skill level, and that's okay. You want to reach your limits. But then instead of saying, I have reached my limit, I need to learn something, I need to read something, I need to grow, I need to practice, I need to fuck it up, I need to fail, I need to practice some more. They say, okay, yeah, but did you see this color over here? But that packaging is wrong. And people are like, but how are you going to launch? I hear you, but I'm not going to launch because the box size isn't right yet. And that's what I see so much of, which is why even me eating my big ass, I had 4 humble pies this week. It really also put me in a place of like, do I really love this? And am I committed to surfing? And do I love it no matter what? Or am I only committed because my natural ability has brought me this far? Because what I've realized with artists is...
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, and that I really like had to think about it, even though I was almost in tears. Once again, Emily, if you listen to this, don't tell Mo. Don't tell my surf coach. But like I was literally almost in tears. Like, I don't understand. 4 days ago, I was great. I was great 4 days ago. Why do I fucking suck today? And leaving the ocean, I really put me in a place of like, it doesn't matter. You are coming back out here tomorrow and the day after and the day after. If you have to mess this up 100 times to get it right once, so help me God, I'm doing it. And now I'm like doubling down.
It tests your commitment.
Absolutely. Because here's what I see with artists, and this might be you. If this makes you mad what I'm about to say, this is you for sure. Where you start something, you're like, I'm going to do extension method 1. And then the minute you start that one, and then you mess it up because no one does anything perfect, or a client comes back or they have a problem, you're like, the method is garbage. It's not me. I'm great because I've been doing hair for 15 years. The method is bad. So I'm going to go to method number 2 because fuck method 1. And then you start doing method 2 and you're good at it for a minute because of your natural ability to do it or just the work that you've put in. But then all of a sudden, once it gets hard, you fuck it up, a client's unhappy, you don't understand something, you're like, method 2 is bad. I'm doing method 3. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm certified in 16 different methods. I'm like, cool, but are you a fucking expert in any?
Yeah.
And you're not.
And do you understand what you're doing in any of them? Because I mean, I was one of those people that when I came to learn NBR, I had done every other type of extension method.
I'd done 3 others. I get it.
Yeah. And I thought that I had taught myself NBR by looking at YouTube videos and studying people's Instagram posts. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, you are one of those.
I did it on 2 of my friends. I was like, oh, I think I learned this like NBR method. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah.
I'm shitting my pants right now.
And then sorry. So we're going to go down this rabbit hole for a second. So then when I like signed up for BMSCon 1 and I like got into the pre-training, I started watching the videos and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
How much of what you're percentage-wise?
Not supposed to put 6 wefts to the end?
Let me ask you this. How much of what you were doing from your YouTube tutorial non-NBR days was correct? Out of 100%. What you thought you knew versus what NBR actually is, how much of that was correct?
I mean...
From 0% to 100.
Maybe like 30. But 30 is not enough, okay? Like, it's not enough. It's not. And what I also want to say is that, so then, you know, I learn NBR, and then I'm like, okay, and naturally I've been very good at every type of extensions I've done.
Totally fair, yeah.
So I'm like, well, this is just going to be also naturally very easy for me. And it did feel supernatural. And I felt very good about my work for probably about 3 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And at that point, like I'd stopped doing all other types of extensions because at that time I was doing mainly individual links.
Oh, yeah,
like eye tips. You know?
Yeah, I've done those.
And when those clients would come back, in comparison to NBR, anything that's like an individual type, a bond or whatever, it looks more like snakes or like ropes or whatever analogy you want to use, where NBR, because of the wefts, it really just looks so natural. And so I was charging the same amount for both, and I just like couldn't do it anymore. So I was like, I'm only going to do NBR. And so I told all those clients, like, you have one more time with me with your eye tips. Otherwise, you can find someone else to do it. I'll give you a little bit of time, or you can get NBR with me. And, so I like fully committed. Then like 3.5 months in, I had like a few clients come back and I was like, ooh, what? WTF. And that's when I had my #FuckNBR moment. Mm-hmm. And it was great because Ani had actually posted in the network, like honestly, like a week before that about fuck NBR. And so when you hear us say that, like we're not just trying to say fuck, even though we do obviously say it a lot.
Yeah.
But it's this, we could find that post. It still exists.
Bet you I could, yeah.
We should do that. So it was this post about, when you get to that moment where you're just like, F this method, F this brand, like it's the brand, it's the method, whatever. And I like remembered her post, and then I went back to this place where I'm like, okay, is any method going to be flawless 100% of the time? No, because humans are all different. Every client is different. Every extension stylist is different. Every service appointment is a different case.
I mean, the care at home is different.
Yes.
Yeah, everything.
And so what really is important is understanding your work, understanding how to evaluate your own work so that you know what is going wrong so that you can improve upon it. And honestly, the more you do that, the less and less and less you have those fuck NBR moments. And I feel like I'm doing a sales pitch right now because I'm like, this is what we do in the academy. We don't just teach you how to do NBR and then we're like, okay, have fun trying to love NBR. We teach you how to assess your own work so that when you hit those rough moments, when you go to a shorter length on your board, when you're surfing or whatever it is that you're doing, you have the tools to be able to move through it and become that greater version of yourself. And when you get there, you're like, fuck yeah, NBR.
Well, and not only that, but it's a matter of having people that have already done the thing you want to do and pushed past their natural ability. I did not do good this week at my surf session, but I went out this morning with my coach, and instead of me being like, I'm frustrated, I'm upset, I don't understand, he was like, let's try again. And he was like, you are looking down, stop looking down. And I'm like, part of me wanted to be like, I'm not looking down, but I was like, he's watching me, and if he's telling me I'm looking down, who the fuck am I to say no, I'm not? So I was like, game on. I literally was like, I'm gonna watch that one little stare. I'm watching that stare. I got the stare, and so help me God, I stood up perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's even things like that and he's born in South Africa. He's been surfing like since his whole life. Like this is all he does. And so even in moments like that, I think it's really great when my natural ability reached its peak, I hit the ceiling, instead of backing back down and being like, well, I guess that's it. I'll try skateboarding or rollerblading or something else. No. I'm going to push past this. But pushing past also means I need help.
Yeah.
Because now, like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This is not my profession. It's not my main skill. And even if it is your profession, when you're learning something new like NBR, new extension method, that's so intricate, or if you're starting your own business or you're releasing a product, whatever it is, find help. Because that doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're shitty. It doesn't mean that you're not good at what you do. You're actually very, very smart to get help where you need it. Because natural skill only takes you so far. My boyfriend Steven says all the time, because we were talking about this, because obviously I was upset in the car. I didn't cry. I did not cry after my shit surf lesson, but I was very quiet of just like, I need to assess my feelings on this and also tell myself, like, get it together. You pick it back up. All right, you fucked up. You were shit today. Congrats. But at least you still had about 20 times of repetition of messing up. You're 20 times closer to understanding it. And even on the way home, I'm talking about this, and he's like, yeah, I'm naturally good at everything. He goes, truly. He goes, any sport, you put me anywhere. CrossFit, basketball, this, that, that. He goes, I'm naturally good. He goes, but am I great at any of those? No. He goes, because I've never given it enough time or practice or even cared to be great. I was happy with where I was just with my natural ability. He goes, but now there's other things that he goes, this I want to be great at. And that's where it really comes down into, do you even care about it? Because let me tell you, if it was anything except surfing and NBR, I don't give a shit. I don't care. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care when it involves my work, my passion, my love. Like, I love this so much. I'm willing to push past any discomfort, any fear, and any panic to get to a new ceiling, a new floor, a taller building. Same with surfing. But if you're like, ooh, Ani, you need to, I don't know, work out more, because no, my answer is just, you know what? No. Why? I don't fucking care. I don't care. And that's the truth. I simply don't care.
No, and because you do care, you're doing it and it's showing. And if, for those of you who listened to the last podcast that I was on with Ani, you know, we talked about how she was committing to actually come in or to actually go surfing and allow herself that space and time before work, and to let go of her guilt about doing that. And guess what? She's actually been doing it.
Yeah. Was I almost late to work today? Yes.
Almost.
I had 35 or maybe 40 minutes to get home, shower, shampoo, blow dry my hair, put my makeup on, get dressed, and get the fuck out the door. But I made it on time. Don't worry. But it's even things like that. That's why we're coming to the end of the podcast. Unfortunately, gosh, this time went by so quick. But I really want you guys to think about, number one, what is the thing you're struggling with in your life right now? It could be a personal hobby. It could be even like, it could be your business, like whatever it is, there's something. And for all of the NBR artists, I can guarantee you it's NBR, because NBR is intricate, but that's also what makes it so flawless and seamless at the end. So anytime, have you ever noticed that artists who've been doing hair longer are so much harder to train?
Yeah, it's like old dog, new tricks.
Dude. They're so much harder, because then I always hear that, but in another method, and my response is, I don't care about another method. NBR is different.
And it's also like breaking that muscle memory of like what, you know, because if you've been doing another method, like you're used to doing it a certain way, and you just have to like forget everything you know.
Yeah. And sometimes, guys, you just need to take a deep breath and walk away for 20 minutes.
Yes.
Like literally during that surf session, when my coach finally got out there and he's like, you're overthinking it. He goes, you are overthinking everything. Calm down. Relax. It's okay. And I was like, I am relaxed. I was not relaxed. On a scale from 1 to 10, I was like, I'm 7.5 of frustration already. But even things like that, maybe if you're working on your mannequin or with a client and you're reaching that point of like, walk away. Pretend you have to go pee. That's what artists do. We sit down and we go,
it's our thinking time.
Every artist knows how that is. And just really think. But also, guys, if you're reaching that point where you're getting frustrated, that's okay. I feel like that's a good thing, because it means you've reached the peak of your natural skill and ability. Now it's time to go farther. And the farther you push yourself, I feel like your natural skill will also rise as well, because your capacity rises for whatever it is, and you just become better.
And it's your choice. Do you want more? Because at that point, you can just stay where you're at.
That's
if
cool.
you want more, you got to take it.
And you have to make the decision. So guys, we are coming up to the end of our podcast. Katie, I'm so glad you're here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
This is always so fun. So just so you guys know, we do have one more event this year. It is BMS Con Virtual Experience, and that is the beginning of September. Tickets will only be on sale for about another week and a half. So be sure to go to nbr.education if you want more information on that, or more information on the Academy, which is a year-long program. That includes 2 live in-person classes. That includes Academy Convention, which is also, that's our biggest event of the year, with private breakout sessions. I'm so excited for Academy Con this year. But if you're listening to this and you're sitting here and you're like, shit, I know I hit my ceiling a while ago, and I've let myself sink back down from fear, stress, panic, whatever it is, take this as your sign, like, you're better than that. Do more. And not do more like load your plate up with shit you don't want, but push yourself. And I guarantee you, yes, you're going to be frustrated and sad and upset a few days, but by the time you reach that next peak and that next level, you're going to be so grateful that you did it.
Yep.
Katie, final words?
I just love that. That was great.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. In that case, thanks for being here with us, and share this with your friends. And if you have any topics you would like us to talk about, send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, tell us what you want to hear.
Tell me what you want, what you really want. Cool. That's how we're going to end it. Have a great day, guys. See you next week.
What you really want.